Hi, welcome back everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. We're tinkering with weights in drives again in this video. Previously just done a video with the F9, moving some weights in and out of the head and looking at some numbers of how it may possibly changes performance of the club. Got me thinking a little bit with the Ping G410, especially with the LST version, so the low spin head. So typically I'm trying to get my spin number down. LST tends to get me in that lower bracket, but then I'm thinking, well, it's still got that 16 gram tungsten weight in that back section, which you would think is going to still try and pull CG further back, even though maybe some internal weighting is pushing it forward. So what happens if we remove that weight, potentially then moving the weight or allowing weight or the CG to go more forward? Does that make it more low spin? And that's what we're going to take a look at in this particular video. Okay, so I've got this set up in its most low spin setting in a way with LST. Obviously the weight's in the back, which we're going to keep it in there to start with, but it's in the central section. I've got it in an even flow in a 6.5, so more of a low spin sort of shaft. So it's everything that's trying to control my spin number. So we're going to hit some base numbers first with this setup as it would be, and then we'll obviously remove the weight and then do the same test again. Okay, that was a nice opening tee shot. Very neutral. That's going to go a long way. Yeah, look at that one trundle out there. Caught that a little bit higher in the face. I know that spin's going to come down a little bit there. That's some really good launch conditions for me. Hit a little bit more on that launch, but with that slower spin, always opens up those extra few yards for me. Really nice start. Okay, I'm going to hit one more shot and then we'll pop that weight out and see what that actually does to the performance. Okay, good strike, just slightly push there, but not a lot. Yeah, slightly push from the other ones, it's actually straighter. Again, edging over that 300, so some great hits there for me. That last one there, just short 2500, just spun up a little bit more. Maybe we just dropped that little bit of distance. Okay, let's take the 16 gram weight out and let's hit another batch of shots and see what happens. Okay, so there's the weight out. So that is a 16 gram weight that goes in the back of that head of the G410. So it's a pretty hefty weight, to be honest. And let's see what it actually does. So I've kept the loft the same, shaft's exactly the same, literally just moved that weight out the back. Let's give it a few swings. Yeah, I definitely feel the lighter club head there. Very noticeable in the way that swings. So it does feel a little bit faster there. Again, we might look at that club head speed. We've seen that in previous videos when I've done removal of weights out the head. Does create a little bit more speed, as you'd expect. But what does it do with the spin? That's the interesting one I want to look at. Lovely ball flight. Just turn up that left hand side, caught that a little bit low in the face. I imagine that spin's going to creep up. So dropped a tiny bit of distance, 298. Spin at 2100, that was not bad actually, because I thought that would have spun more. That felt a bit low in the club face. It didn't feel as solid, that strike there. Again, whether that was just because it was a little bit low, it felt like there was a lot of give in the head there. Again, maybe just because there wasn't that weight, extra weight in the head just to give that stability. Or maybe it was just purely because I just misstruck it slightly. Better connection. Again, it's up that left-hand side slightly. That felt low spin, that one. Definitely felt low spin. 303. I thought I'd get a bit more out of that, especially that shape. 1400 spin though. 160 ball speed. So I didn't quite get the ball speed there, but the spin was very low. Now we know there's going to be some swing weight issues here because obviously I've removed pretty much 16 grams of weight out of the head, which is quite a lot. So there's obviously got to, if you're going to do this, there would have to be some sort of counterbalancing happening here to get the swing weight of the club correct. So the head does feel very light here. That's a good strike. Nice and straight. Yeah, just fraction up that left side actually there. Got a little bit of a left to right wind out here, so to me that looks pretty straight. Obviously the simulator doesn't pick up the wind, so that was 303, spinning at 2100, 163 ball speed. Definitely doesn't feel quite as solid on the connection. That's probably the biggest feel there. Obviously it feels a lot lighter, it just doesn't feel quite as strong or quite as solid and stable in that connection. Let's get one more hit and we'll have a look at some numbers. Fraction up that left side again. Just slightly pulled there. Quite a solid strike, but 300 done pretty well there and 1900 spin. Right, okay, let's look at some numbers in a little bit more detail with the weight in and the weight out. Okay, so looking at the numbers there, so we've got LST just as a standard with the weight in and obviously the blue one with the no weight. So let's have a quick look at club head speed first. Just flick into this one. So 100, just under 112 with the weight and about 112.6 without. So literally just over half a mile an hour on average in terms of club head speed gain there. So very minimal really considering the amount of weight that we sort of took out of the head. Looking at ball speed, 161.8 against 162.1, so probably that little bit of gain in ball speed was maybe that from that tiny bit of gain of club head speed. 11.6 on launch against 10, so it's actually launched a little bit lower there, so possibly you could argue there with taking that heavy weight out of that back section is moving CG further forward, potentially a slightly lower launch. Again, my strike can make a difference to that. If I catch one a little bit low in the face, it'll always just pop that launch out a touch lower, so very tough to sort of know whether was it with the weight doing that or was it maybe through my strike. Spin number with the weight was 2025, so great number for me. If I can consistently get it in that number with that sort of 11.6 launch, I know I'll get some really good sort of distance shots happening there, very sort of penetrating on that ball flight. Optimised myself. That was 10 and 1900, so okay, it's 1,000 revs less. It's 100 revs less. So a little bit, but not a lot. I think, you look at that 1400 in there, it's obviously pulling that average down. So maybe if we just disable that and then look at it as an average, you see that just jumps it up to 2085, which is a little bit more, but pretty much the same. There's not a lot in it, is there? So very minimal really what it's doing, but obviously for feel factor, it made a bigger difference there. It felt a lot lighter, felt a little bit more uncontrollable, felt a little bit more flimsy impact, if that sort of makes sense. So distance there, 277, just pop that one back out again there. So 277 against 274, 301 against 301, so there's not hardly any difference in it there. Just really interested to see whether that actually popped that spin low. That's my real sort of query with that, or interested to sort of see what that test is. Did taking that weight out of that very back section head, did that make it more low spin? Not really, no. Right guys, so there we go. There's a little bit of more weight testing in drivers. Again, just really intrigued to see what happened when that weight's taken out. I haven't done this before, so I just thought I'd put this on camera and show the findings to you. To be honest, I was really impressed with the numbers with the weight. Felt much more solid to me, as I mentioned through the video there. Taking the weight out made a bigger difference, not to the numbers, but more to the feel of the club and my sort of reaction to the club in terms of just very light in the head, as you'd expect, and obviously that just less sort of stable feel. Maybe as I just slightly missed the middle or sweet spot. Without that weight at the back, just felt like it was more flimsy in a way. Ball seemed to fly as good as what we saw before, but it's just a feel thing, which is really important. To a player, the feel aspect is quite an important part. Okay, post comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on that video, taking weights out. Potentially you could put an extra 3 weights in there, because all sorts you can sort of do, but obviously there is a factor of swing weight to weigh into the equation as well, because you obviously are going to change swing weight by adding and removing weights, so there's always that aspect you've got to weigh into the equation also. Okay, thanks so much for watching guys. If you enjoyed the video, share the video around with your friends, subscribe if you haven't done so, very much appreciate it. Follow my social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.